All right. Good morning, Cavaliers. We're going to go over probability. This is our last week where we are covering the topic. We'll go over the vocabulary words you need to know and then how to solve a couple different ones for seventh grade. First off, probability just means a chance of something happening. What is the probability that it rains today? What's the probability when you play a certain game that something happens? So probability, the chance of something happening. We measure that usually using either a fraction or a percent. The probability is 1 out of 3, or the probability is 50%. We also have the word outcomes, which is all the things that are possible. What are the possible outcomes when you roll a die? Well, you have 6 total outcomes, right? You can roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So outcomes means all the possible things that can happen. That'll usually be the bottom number of the fraction if you write it in a fraction form. And or we can do probabilities where you have to do this and you have to do something else. And we can do probabilities where you have to do this or this. Either one counts. So those are two different types that we're going to cover right now. Theoretical and experimental, we'll get back to in a little bit. So here, the probability of spinning the spinner and landing on red, and a comma is and rolling a 3. We look at the probability of each one. Probability of spinning red, there is 1 red out of 4 total outcomes. So 1 out of 4 for spinning red. Rolling a 3, there is 1 3 out of 6 total outcomes. If you have to do 2 things or more in a row, you multiply each probability. So 1/4 red times 1 out of 6 that you roll a 3 for a total of 1 out of 24. You have a 1 in 24 chance of doing both of those things. You're probably going to lose about 23 out of 24 times. So that's and probability. You have to do this and that. You multiply the probabilities. What about the probability that you spin the spinner and it lands on red or green? Not and, red or green. So the probability of red, 1 out of 4. The probability of green, also 1 out of 4. What math do we do if you can do something or something? Either one is okay. Either one makes you a winner. So we add the probabilities when it's an or problem. So you have a 1/4 of a chance. Also, that also helps you win either one. So we add the 2 probabilities. You have a total of 2 out of 4 chances of winning. So just remember, if it's or, we're going to add the probabilities and it's going to help. You're going to have a higher chance. If it's and, the comma, that's harder to do, and we multiply the probabilities. The last 2 things, theoretical, experimental. Theoretical is what should happen in theory based on math. So you should land on red 1 out of 4 times. That's the theoretical probability. As far as experimental probability, that means what actually happened when you tried. You should land on red 1 out of 4 times, but you might spin it 5 times and never land on red. Maybe the experimental probability that you landed on red was only 1 out of 10. Who knows? But experimental means what actually happened when you did the experiment, when you tried. Theoretical means what should happen.